Well, hey folks, it's your old pal King Waspinator. Welcome back to Total Party Skills. Hit like and subscribe. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. So, yesterday I was, I guess a kind of slightly belligerent. I'm not sure if I'd call it antagonistic, but a couple of people did seem to read it as a bit antagonistic video, which, if you want an example of gatekeeping, well, there it is. You got to be mean. You got to carve a firm territory that is potentially going to alienate people who do not find themselves within that circle. And it involves a little rudeness, and you got to be, willing to accept the consequences that some people aren't going to like that. I'm not trying to build the largest possible YouTube audience and be like some mainstream, cater to everyone kind of channel. I'm a niche person. And so I need to make sure I'm kind of filtering my audience so that they are niche people who fit with the kinds of stuff I like talking about. So they would enjoy my content more on average than like random passersby. It's a fine line to tread, but periodically, I do kind of intentionally make these kind of like negative attitude videos that are kind of, intended to kind of shake out the hyper-partisans at both ends of the extremes. I'm not going to be a good fit if you're particularly, really, really into being a Republican or really, really being into a Democrat and are really, really touchy about people bringing up things about that. I'm not a good fit, no. So, by all means, unsubscribe. Go watch something else. Go enjoy your Saturday morning cartoons or whatever it is you want. Do you remember, our country, our civilization, period, but America in particular, we've really perfected the concept of bread and circuses, and I don't know. I just feel like it to a point where not only have we made the masses docile and distracted by this constant drip of entertainment, but they want it. They don't like it being pointed out that they're being manipulated. They want to hear about how the other side's being manipulated, but they don't want to know that they're being manipulated. They don't want to know it's a trick. You don't want the Penn and Teller show telling you about how the magic trick is working and lifting the curtain. You want the David Copperfield thing so you can believe that the Statue of Liberty disappeared in front of you, even though you know better. People want the illusion. I ultimately have always concluded that the very act of believing something is kind of an admission that you know it's not real. Otherwise, you wouldn't need to believe in it. You don't need to believe in the existence of wolves. You don't need to believe in the existence of blue whales. But for some reason, you do need to believe in the existence of angels and aliens. And I think there's a distinction to be found there, and that kind of language use and what's really going on. The amount of times in my youth when being more like an active atheist kind of person and being outspoken about such things is the amount of times. You get this question from people like, well, are you just saying it's all fairy tales? And I'm like, it's interesting that's where your mind leapt to in terms of trying to what you're being, on some level you understand that it's a fairy tale. And so, yeah, I'm not going to be a good fit for everyone, and I don't want to be a good fit for everyone. Even the people who do stick around. And like I said, I'm trying to kind of cultivate an audience, of people who, will like my content. Without me having to chase algorithms. There's some comments on yesterday's video. There's a lot of positive comments, but along the lines of little encouraging words, about things you could do to maybe scoop more people or sell more books, all that kind of stuff. But I really don't want to be an ambulance chaser. Looking at my own algorithms, all I have to do is drop one D&D is woke video a day, and my numbers will be great, and my subscriber count will be great. But in a way, that'll be a bit of a lie because it would give a lot of the people who would subscribe to this channel purely because that's the content being pumped out that doesn't actually match with the reality of what my actual beliefs and intents are. And so, whereas I do like to broach those subjects, I do like to caveat them a lot. Also, the idea of the whole thing of I'm not particularly pro-left right now, haven't been for a couple years, but I don't want to, sign on with the right. That's called integrity, folks. That's called standing up for your principles. That's called wanting to see your side do better. Would it be better off if I was some snake in the grass Dave Rubin guy, just running over and just pretending to be on someone's side so they'll give me money. Like, like that. There's no integrity in that. No, it's I'm taking the harder path, the path that'll get you called a coward and a damn dirty neutral because you're not taking a side in this completely an unnecessary fight over marginal differences and beliefs about tax structures. Uh, you know, uh, but politics is real. I'm not the one who brought it into this sphere of entertainment, and what, we're not supposed to talk about it. If we are supposed to talk about it, we can only take one of two lenses to talk about it. There's no room at all for a third column of sorts. Speaking as an American from an American point of view to a largely but not entirely American audience, to the non-Americans in my audience, just play along for a second. And just read as unread. I'm not talking about you and how your country's run. I'm talking about mine. We have this captured corporate political system. Both parties are basically companies that sell as their product access to politicians. They need to demonize each other constantly to ensure to their investors in the form of donators that they'll be able to get a return on their investment because we've locked in this many voters, so we know for a fact that this candidate will get elected no matter what, because these people are absolutely terrified of these demon political party, of their choice. We don't want them to get in power because they're going to do the thing that you don't like, that we've really just gotten into your brain with media and weird stuff from your childhood and school and all these sorts of things. It's cynical. It's dragged us all way the fuck off of whatever original intention that our founding fathers had for what kind of society we should be. We're basically just constantly like two dogs just chasing each other's tails. The left and the right really don't mean anything anymore. The positions have flipped so much in just the last decade alone. I see comments of people who are like, well, I'm a right-winger, but, you say a lot of stuff I agree with. Well, it's probably because you're not actually right-wing. You're probably a classic liberal, but classic liberals have been framed as right-wing pretty much since around the time Trump got elected. But maintaining principles is hard. There's all sorts of emotional and psychological things putting pressures on us to be resentful and get defensive and want revenge. So much of what motivates a lot of the current political atmosphere is actually really petty personal feelings of rejection and exasperation. It largely really traces back to family conflicts. I mean, so much of the rift is you can kind of lay at the feet of that little trend there in the Obama years where comedians on TV started kind of subtly encouraging people to just cut people off on Facebook, the whole don't have Thanksgiving with Uncle Bill kind of stuff. And then that leads to the people feeling rejected and unlistened to and just being shut out and just being blanket accused of the most derivative possible thing you could accuse them of being in order to explain why they're not on your side. Instead of understanding that everything's a nuanced position. The political compass as we know it is false. The political line from left to right is false. We live in an infinite sphere of political choices that is in motion. It's not only do you have a center point that could be at any given position, there's infinite positions around any particular given position, and the whole thing is moving laterally through space as time marches forward. The idea that everything is either left or right is so goddamn retarded. And you know what? I'm not alone in thinking this way, because in America, the largest political faction are people who don't vote at all, and the second largest political faction are voters who refuse to declare themselves for one party or the other, then followed by the Democrats, and then followed by the Republicans. In grand total of the entire U.S. population, including everyone here, including all the poor, dumb people who don't even bother paying attention to any of this. They're too busy watching a reality TV show and drinking beer and going to work every day. And by the way, there's Nothing wrong with that. That has been the average human experience for thousands of years now. So that is not like some sort of elitist condemnation. Like, that is a perfectly valid way to experience life. But, if you add everyone together, the people who are actually like making the decisions on who our leaders we're talking like 20 to 30% of the total population in total, split between these two parties. So because of the fact, though, that there's a lot of people out there who aren't affiliated and don't participate at all, and there are people who just refuse to like directly sign on for one side or the other for whatever their motivations, I know that there is a demographic out there of people who would like to hear someone who's not just automatically taking Team Red over Team Blue. A joke of mine years ago, after taking some political science classes. I mean, a good chunk of why I'm so quote-unquote black-pilled is the sheer act of having taken political science classes in college. Is like, the voting system in America, if we really want to streamline it and get more people to vote, we just need to make it simple. You go to your voting place, there's a booth, you walk in, close the curtain, and then there's two big buttons on a panel. One is red and one is blue. And then you go, I like red, and then you slap the red button, or you're like, I like blue, and then you slap the blue button, and then it'll just automatically assign, red or blue to whichever Team Red, Team Blue candidates have been appointed there by the donor class and by the party apparatus, and then you don't have to worry about whether or not you feel informed about every last state representative, or, how much you can really trust so-and-so for state comptroller. You don't have to think at all. We can just reduce it down to the most basic, simple binary choice between two different colors you like. That is kind of like my very cynical, sarcastic take on politics in America, if you want to reduce it all the way down to, its boiled down essence. What's the skeleton? Oh, and if you pull back the panel, you'll find that like both buttons have wires that lead to the exact same stuff. So you're not actually choosing red or blue. It's all just an illusion. But people don't want us to have the curtain peeled back. People want to believe in the fake things. They don't want to face reality. And, if you're one of those kinds of people, yeah, I'm a bad fit. Because as much as I might like fantasy gaming, I don't want to be engaging in fantasy while going through having to navigate the actual, real, harsh, deadly universe that we all live in. And so, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what the point of any of that is. My iPhone has been acting up this morning, and so I've already done several videos trying to talk about this, just to have it been like, no, your usage is full, and then go through and it's like delete everything, and then, oh no, you have to delete it again because you have to go and delete the things you just deleted, and then the battery's low, so I had to leave that charging for a while, and I just want to annoy people on YouTube. Why can't I have what I want? So, I don't know. There's no point to any of this. But as I say, though, there's an awful lot of talk about gatekeeping. Well, gatekeeping isn't easy, and it runs against our natural instincts, especially as gamers, because the whole point we are into tabletop role-playing games as opposed to video games is we were actually trying to have some sort of social interaction with other human beings. And so, being purposely standoffish and creating barriers of expectations around yourself and telling people, yeah, no, that's fine, get the fuck out of here. That kind of runs against the instinct of trying to maximize the amount of, adventuring social opportunities you can have with this particular hobby. So that's about it. I guess leave comments below, all that good stuff. I will say that the video I made yesterday did lead to an interesting, roiling boil kind of effect with my YouTube channel. Last I looked, I'm up from where I was when I first made a video talking about how, whenever I get a surge of subscribers, there's kind of a downfall at the very tip of it, where I go up a little bit to a peak and then fall off a bit. it was wobbly. It'd go down and went up, went down, went up, but it's still currently up. And if the people who didn't unsubscribe over that video hadn't unsubscribed, I'd probably be sitting like around 260 or something right now. I will just point out to anybody who's still watching this video at this point, after all this meandering random stuff, I'm a tiny nobody on YouTube with 250 minus subscribers. So, if you're allowing me to ruin your fucking day, you maybe need to be taking a break from the internet. I don't know. Maybe go camping, get in touch with nature, unplug a little bit. We all need to unplug a little bit. At some point, we are going to face the reality of either we're going to have some sort of global brownout, because even if we switch off the petroleum, batteries and solar panels also require rare minerals and all sorts of mining and bad things. So at some point, if we really actually want to save the planet, we're just going to have to turn all this off. So, it's not necessarily harmful for people to kind of go ahead and maybe start getting reconnected to what life is without all this grid in our lives. And, that's one of the advantages to tabletop role-playing games. It's a nice, fun, exciting, always fresh and new activity you can have with your friends and family that, as long as you have a source of light, if it's after dark, and some dice, that's all you really need in order to be able to function it. You don't need to plug in anything. You don't need the internet. None of that. So, as a form of entertainment media, it's going to have more longevity than film and television and YouTube channels and vlogs and all that other kind of stuff, Twitch streams. It'd be nice if we can live, and achieve that Star Trek future, but science fiction is really more about what's going on right now and less about actually predicting anything, so. And none of us will really be around to see and find out now, will we? Well, anyway, on that super fantastic 100% positive note, once again, leave comments, hit like and subscribe, and go wasp yourself.